What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we have a few stories that we're going to cover up on today's horror news update. A few stories that dropped late yesterday afternoon, so you may not have seen them. Odds are you probably wouldn't have, but this first one that we're going to talk about should not come as a surprise to any. And if you are surprised by this, then I don't know what to tell you. You weren't reading the tea leaves. You weren't reading between the lines, because I think anyone that saw Final Destination Bloodlines was just waiting for news that there was going to be a seventh film. So here we are. We're going to jump into this. Is going to be our first story that we're going to jump into. And again, just from the headline alone, seventh Final Destination movie in development at New Line. And I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised it took this long for this to get announced. Final Destination Bloodline dropped on May 16th, 2025. So we're already almost, 3 months since that film dropped, and they're just now putting it out there that it's already been greenlit. They're already in development for this one. So I'm, again, surprised they waited that long. I would have thought it would have been within probably a month and a half from the Final Destination Bloodline's final numbers in theaters, and then they would have announced this, because it was, I don't know if it was the most profitable when you compare the numbers, but it was pretty profitable. And actually, I think it was the most profitable. Because I went and looked at the numbers now that I'm thinking about it, because the total budget across all 6 movies was a little over $200 million, and worldwide box office numbers was a little over $950 million. So they're close to that $1 billion mark for the franchise. And Final Destination Bloodline had roughly 45 to 50 million budget, and brought in a little over 200, if I remember correctly, it was like around 280 million, maybe a little bit north of that, but not too much north of that, 280 million. So made a big profit, and every single Final Destination film has made a profit. It has more than exceeded the budget that it was given. Now, as far as quality goes, that's where we get into a debate, right? I know many people, I can say for myself, the first film by far is a classic. I think it's just one of those films that, for even for the time it was made, it was a great idea, great concept. Final Destination 2, they obviously amped it up a bit. That one was released roughly 3 years after the first film, and they were doing that. I think they did that for roughly for the first 4 films. It seemed like every 3 years we got a Final Destination film. We had the film called The Final Destination 2009, and then they didn't wait long before giving us Final Destination 5, but then the biggest gap of time was between 5 and 6. 5 came out around 2010, 2011, somewhere around there, and then here we are roughly 15, 16 years later, we got Part 6. So they're not wasting any time for Part 7. I imagine we'll probably get Part 7 in 2027. I can't fathom that they would have this 7th film ready to go and have as much of an impact by, let's say, summer 2026. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. Maybe they will get it done by then, but I just don't see it happening. All right, so let's jump into these article details here. All right, so fresh off the box office success of Final Destination Bloodlines, which became the highest grossing installment in the franchise history. Okay, so right here. So yeah, I was right. It was around that 250 million box office worldwide mark. The Hollywood Reporter breaks the news tonight that a 7th Final Destination movie is in development. THR reports New Line is moving forward with a follow-up to its horror hit Final Destination Bloodlines, hiring that movie's co-writer Laurie Evans Taylor to pen the next installment. Looks like we have a slew of names here as far as who all will produce the next installment, with Warren Zaid on board to executive produce. Bloodlines was the 6th installment. We know that. Okay, so the first in 14 years. Yeah, I thought it was like 15, 16 years, but they're saying here it was the first in 14 years. All right, so let's keep going. The Final Destination franchise was created by Jeffrey Reddick, with the very first installment bringing death to life on the big screen in 2000, a full 25 years ago. It was given the 7th installment would be ordered up in the wake of Bloodline's record-breaking success in theaters, and it's only a matter of time before we learn more. So yeah, so that's the latest update, and this is a poster from the 6th film. I think this is a great-looking poster. It just absolutely fits the Final Destination franchise. I love the fact that, again, this is a clean poster. Look at this. There's nothing going on. No, Rotten Tomato scores, scariest movie, or, certified fresh, all that nonsense. You just have an image, Final Destination, and this stuff down here at the bottom. That's all you need. Now, I'm hoping they can keep the success moving, because this one here, Final Destination Bloodlines, along with parts 2 and 3, are the 3 highest rated amongst critics, so to speak. Now, amongst the fans, parts 2, 5, and this one, especially Final Destination Bloodlines, is by far was the highest rated amongst all the films. So if they can keep that trend going, give us something fresh as far as like revitalizing the franchise, similar to what Scream did and what I Know What You Did Last Summer absolutely failed to do, they could get another, let's say, 2 or 3 films out of this franchise before I think you're finding yourself down the Saw route, where you're pushing it to where you're getting to films like 10, 11, and then it's like, okay, do we really need more of these? So all right, so let's move on to our next story. Now, this one is the surprise one. I did not expect this story. I only saw the headline, and it is, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Radu Jude, or Judd. I think it's Jude, to follow his new Dracula movie with a Frankenstein movie starring Sebastian Stan. So now we're getting at some point a third Frankenstein film, modern take, because again, we know that we have the Del Toro one coming to Netflix, the Gyllenhaal one coming with Christian Bale at some point coming, where Christian Bale's playing the monster. So I mean, now we got a third film. I was surprised to see this. So I haven't read this article, so we're gonna learn this information together. Romanian filmmaker, I'm just gonna call him Radu, just to paraphrase it, is at this month's Locarno Film Festival for a screening of his take on Dracula. Now, I do know, I think it was around 2019, 2020, Sebastian wanted and had come out publicly and said, he wanted to play Dracula, he wanted to play the character. I'm not sure if this, I don't think this film that we're talking about here, Dracula, he ever starred in. And if he did, it went under the radar, but I don't think he did. So it's interesting now that he's going to be coming back to this same filmmaker to play in this Frankenstein film. All right. You can see the clip here on Deadline, which was shot and set in Transylvania, where the vampire myth began, and sees Jude embark on an epic odyssey to make Dracula great again. 1 to 2 special has acquired all North American distribution rights to the film and has described it as a, quote, trademark Jude black comedy paying tribute to one of the cinema's greatest legends and featuring vampires, zombies, blood, sex, AI images, and car chases. Not happy about the AI images comment there. I mean, it's just going to be a matter of time before filmmakers start going that route and we start seeing more and more of AI used. I'm not fully on board with that. I just think that's just not the route we want to take filmmaking, TV series, things of that nature, but that's just my opinion. While Jude gets his Dracula out into the world, it has now been revealed that he's working on a Frankenstein movie, and he has brought in Romanian-born Sebastian Stan, who is best known for playing Bucky Barnes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to star in the film. Jude will be writing and directing the Frankenstein film, which is said to combine the idea of CIA prisons in Romania with the myth of Frankenstein. While we wait to hear more about Jude's Frankenstein, we have Dracula to look forward to. Speaking about that film, Jude said, "I am from Romania. My father is actually from Transylvania. It's time that someone from Romania did a Dracula film. It's only Hollywood that has done it 1,000 times. We shouldn't let Hollywood dominate our Dracula." He added that the movie is, quote, a film about cinema itself and deconstructs the myth of Dracula through dozens of stories. Absurd, pulpy, literary, playful, political, excessive, naughty, fantastic, and realistic. So let me just scroll down here to see. So there's nothing real. I think that's pretty much the end of the article. Nothing more about the Frankenstein film he's doing. More just about this Dracula nonsense. But yeah, I mean, now we're getting there's no as far as dates, as far as when we're gonna get this Frankenstein film. But the concept here combine the idea of CIA prisons in Romania with the myth of Frankenstein. So I'm not sure if he's taking more of a modern day spin and take on the character or on the story, because we do know the two that we're getting aren't modern day. They're very much period piece films. So this would be an interesting viewpoint adaptation of the story if he's going to be more modern day. But again, we have no dates on this one. I just thought this was interesting to bring up because I had not heard about anyone speaking about this. And I'm just surprised we would be getting now a third Frankenstein film on top of the two that we're already getting. So depending upon how those two pan out, this could be a tall order, because the Del Toro one's looking pretty good. After, I wasn't fully bought in on that one. I'll admit that when I saw the trailer. But then when we started looking at like the first look images and things of that nature, I started getting more bought into that one. Now the Gyllenhaal one with Christian Bale, we've only seen, I think, 2 or 3 images of that. We have not seen a teaser. We have not seen any more images. We have not seen a full trailer. It's pretty much been like very quiet on all fronts for that film. So a little disappointed about that. So I'm hoping we get something soon for that one. Maybe towards the end of the year, because that one's been talked about for well over a couple of years now. And I would have thought we would have had something before the end of 2025. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, again, third Frankenstein film movie starring Sebastian is going to be coming our way. All right, so moving into our last story here, which is going to be a quick one. Jamie Campbell Bower gets cutthroat in Witchboard exclusive clip. So we've talked about this film, I think, a couple of times, but we're going to look at this exclusive clip. This one is releasing in theaters this coming week. And it doesn't say limited theaters. It doesn't say select theaters and VOD on same day. So this one looks like it could be a pretty broad release. Get ready for some bad magic. Stranger Things actor Jamie Campbell Bower is willing to cut throats to find a cursed pendulum board in our exclusive Witchboard clip. The Blob and A Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warrior director Chuck Russell is back this year with a remake of Kevin S. Tenney's same title movie from 1986, releasing in theaters August 15th, 2025. The new film is set in present day New Orleans and centers on a cursed artifact unleashed a vengeful witch, drawing a young couple into a deadly spiral of possession, temptation, and occult terror. All right, so I think the rest of this we've pretty much already covered off on it. Like I said, in previous films, I know we've talked about this film more than a couple of times. Really, I just wanted to get into the exclusive clip. But I will put the link for all these articles, as I always do, in the description of this video. So if you want to check them out, you can do so. And read further if you haven't seen those previous videos. But again, this is a lot of rinse and repeat of quotes and content from those other articles. Again, nothing new here. So we have the clip here. Let's see, do we have no poster? So nothing further down below that. All right, so let's get back to the top. All right, so now let's pull up this exclusive clip from Witchboard. Again, it's coming out August 15th. And let's see what scene they're going to be showing us.
Thank you, darling. No, I'm not hungry.
Nonsense. We cater for all our guests' appetites here.
Well, I could ask around about the board. See if Lamarge tried to fence it.
Don't bother. We'll find it. Goodbye now, Mr. Booker.
Well, that sucks for him. He definitely wasn't going to be making it out of there in time for tea later on. Because, yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all for that scene. I thought maybe when they pulled out the knife, that's where it was probably going to end. But nope, they went all in. Yeah, opened them up, drained them into that chalice or that cup, and also into the pentagram on the ground, which I thought that was a clever idea, because the pentagram, it looks like the grooves were lined with either like gold or copper or something to catch the blood. And then we got that pan out where we saw the full pentagram filling up with blood. It looks like it was going into that chalice, that cup, and then at the bottom of it was a hole, and then that's how it was then draining into the pentagram on the ground. So I thought that was a pretty interesting take and scene. So yeah, that's an exclusive clip. The clip was titled "We'll Find It" from Witchboard, again coming to theaters August 15th. So yeah. All right, that's going to do it for this horror news update. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about Final Destination moving into production for a 7th film. We're now getting a 3rd Frankenstein film starring Sebastian Stan at some point. And let us know what you think about the exclusive clip from Witchboard, and if you plan on seeing it in theaters. Again, drop a comment in the comment section. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.